Hey, my name's Kelsey. I'm a genius here at United BMW. Today we're going to take a look at our first ever 2020 X3 M competition. So here we have it parked next to an X3 M40i, just so you can see the differences all in one screen. You'll notice that the front fascia of the X3 M Competition is of course more aggressive. Both have standard adaptive LED headlights. Both of them have the same size kidney grills. The ones on the X3 M just look bigger because they are in gloss black. Same thing with the air intakes down there as well. This part is actually just a little bit bigger, and we'll get into that later. You'll also notice that the X3 M Competition does not have fog lights, at least any that are visible from here. You'll also notice if we come around the side that the side mirrors on the X3 M are more aerodynamic and better looking than the X3 M40i version that we have. You'll also notice the wheels from this angle too. The wheels on the X3 M Competition as of right now only come in 21s in this 765M design, but of course that is possible that it'll change later. So this is the first M model and of course M Competition model of any of the smaller SUVs. It's seen here in Donington Gray. This is the official launch color of the X3 M Competition, and of course it's a well-known, well-loved exclusive M color as well. So the first thing you'll notice about the trunk on the X3 M Competition is this little bit of a hump right here. So it's nothing crazy. It's only a couple inches tall, but that is to accommodate the space saver spare that we have underneath, because of course no M model comes with run flat tire standard. So you'll see here in the M40i, it's just flat. And in there we have a little bit of a step. Otherwise, you can still put the back seats down by pulling this lever, and it'll pop forward and fold down. This comes out by pushing this button right there, and then you just pull it. And then to hide all your M goods, you hook it in there and then pull back to release. In here you have some standard accessories. So you have a USB charger, and then you have a cargo nut and a front plate bracket if you live in a state where that's required. Here in Georgia, we do not need. Over here, this is just a little bit of extra secret storage. Now, everybody's favorite is the interior. So first you'll notice the two-tone leather. This is in black leather and mid-rim beige. These M badges here, just like on the M5, are illuminated, and then you'll also notice X3 M Competition badges throughout. We have one here in the door sill, and then one here just above your wireless charging space, right there. Starting here on the left, you'll notice our carbon fiber trim. This is one of 4 trim options available. You'll see it carried throughout all 4 doors, here on the dash, and here in your center console. Coming over to the steering wheel, this is the standard M Sport steering wheel. It has the M stitching all around, and you'll see your standard M1 and M2 buttons here just ahead of your paddle shifters. This one doesn't have adaptive cruise control, but that is available with the driver's assistance package for this model. Coming forward to the dash, this is our standard M dash. So you see your speed limit information here, and then your driving and setup modes are displayed there. And then if we come up here, you'll see your M heads-up display. This is standard, so again, you see your speed limit information, your speed down there, and then that arrow is your turn-by-turn directions for your navigation. So coming into the iDrive system, you'll notice that this is iDrive 6. So this is the iDrive that most people are used to by now, and that is also what's available on the X5M. So all of the features in here remain the same. The biggest difference in here is in my vehicle, and it's this M setup here. So this is one way that you can configure your M1 and M2 buttons. Some people prefer to see it all together like this. Or what you can do is you can make your selections down here by pushing these repeatedly until you see the option that you want highlighted over here. And then to save it, you can just press and hold either button that you want it saved under until you hear that tone, and you'll see it's now saved under M2. So we hit M1 and then M2. So the other important thing to note here in M Setup is iDrive. If we select this, you'll see that you can switch between the two. You do have to turn traction control or DSC, dynamic stability control, off. So to do that, we're going to press and hold this button down here for about 5 seconds. That'll turn it completely off. You'll see that reflected there and in your dash right over here. And then we're going to select iDrive, and you can choose between 4-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive sport. And that seems really similar, but essentially what happens is it takes it from regular all-wheel drive to a more rear-wheel drive oriented all-wheel drive setting. So it's still going to be an all-wheel drive vehicle. You can't completely change that, but it is more oriented towards the back wheel than specifically all four. Otherwise, this does come standard with the features that you know and love, such as Apple CarPlay with a free 1-year subscription, satellite radio with a free 1-year subscription, and something that we call sport displays. Now, this is something that's available on just about every BMW, but it's not something most people utilize. But here in the 2020 X3 M Competition, some people might be more curious about how much horsepower and torque they're using while driving on the track. So what's nice about this is you can highlight this and then save it under one of our hotkeys. And then if you ever find yourself in a racing mood, hit number 1 and it's going to pull that up for you. Alright, so coming down to our radio and climate controls, these are the classic radio controls. This does come with a CD player, something that we're not always seeing on the 19 and 20 models. Mode and band allow you to switch between your entertainment options. Volume and mute is this one here. This is your CD eject. This allows you to skip songs either on the radio or on your CD, sometimes even your phone. And then coming down here into our climate controls, you do have a menu option here because these are kind of condensed. So you have a few more controls up here. And then back down here we have dual climate controls. You twist this to adjust your temperature. This is your front defroster, rear defroster. This controls where your fans are blowing when you don't have it in automatic. This is your seat heater. This is your ventilated seats. Ventilated seats is a standalone option on the X3 M Competition. And then this here controls the fan speed. So even when it's in automatic, you do still have a little bit of control over how fast that fan is blowing. We move down here, again you'll see the X3 M Competition badge right there, right above your wireless charging tray, and your USB port here, standard cup holders, and then this shifter. So this is the same shifter out of the M5, if you're used to that, if you're familiar with it. So this button up here allows you to control how aggressively the vehicle shifts. If you don't like it to shift aggressively, you can choose the lowest one, or to make it shift more aggressively, push it up 2 times because it is 3 levels. Otherwise, this one works kind of like a DCT. This is an 8-speed automatic Steptronic transmission. So to put it into drive, knock it to the right, put it into neutral, to the left, reverse is left and up. And then to put it into park, it's this button down here. The plus and minus on this, if you want to shift it manually, you'll see this illuminated. And then you'll also notice that reflected up here, so you can use your paddle shifters to shift. Go back down, like that. If you hit that on accident, you can just knock it to the right again, and that manual feature will turn off. So aside from our cool new shifter on the center console, again you'll see your traction control off button here. Down here, again, this is how you can control the setup of your sport settings. This is your exhaust button. So if you want to open the baffles on your exhaust in the morning, you can do that from here. This is your backup camera button. This is your front camera. This is hill descent control right there. And then auto hold, and of course your electronic parking brake right there. Here in the middle, you'll see you do have another USB port. This is different from the rest of the 2019 and 2020 models because those all come with USB-C ports. And you'll notice that even though these are the bucket sport seats, they are ventilated because, like we talked about, they're ventilated seats. So, and then it does have Alcantara there on the bolsters. Coming into the back seat, first you'll notice, like I said, the two-tone leather has been carried throughout, same as the carbon fiber trim that you see there with the ambient lighting. If we look down here in the center, you'll see that you do have climate controls back here and heated seats as well. Very important here in Atlanta when it gets below 70 degrees. Now, if you want to pop your back seats down from back here, all you do is pull this lever up and it'll pop them forward. You can lay them down flat. Alright, back in the front seat, you'll see that this does come standard with the upgraded Harman Kardon system. This model also features the BMW gesture controls here, and then with the backup camera as well. You can pinch and drag and see a 360-degree view of your vehicle. Keep in mind this does not always match the color that your model has been produced in. It's just a factory standard. So the X3 M Competition comes in at a starting price of $76,900. It has a curb weight of 4,620 pounds. It has a top speed of 177 miles per hour, 503 horsepower, 442 pounds-feet of torque. It does 0 to 60 in 4 seconds flat and has about an average MPG of 14 miles in the city. So the engine on the X3 M Competition is brand new. It's what we call an S58 engine, if you're familiar with the BMW engine terms. Otherwise, it's a 3-liter 6-cylinder engine that we can see right here. So this is a brand new high-performance engine with 2 exhaust turbochargers that gives it a fast and dynamic response and high torque at low speed. It has weight-optimized crankshaft and forged pistons that allow maximum and stable power, so it's track-ready anytime. Steel struts on the sides and here across the top of the engine give it additional rigidity, so you're just a little bit safer. There's also an additional intercooler in the cooling system to better monitor the radiator, transmission, and M differential. Speaking of the diff, the M differential is standard, so is M steering and adaptive M suspension. We also have an M compound braking system standard on this as well. If we come around to the side, you can see it has a ventilated ABS system with cross-drilled rotors, and all rotors on the X3 M Competition do come standard painted blue. It is also worth noting that launch control does come standard on the X3 M Competition, and display keys are available on some of them. That has been a very quick overview of the brand new X3 M Competition. If you have any other questions about it, please always feel free to stop by and give us a call or leave us a comment down below. Thanks!